Martin Luther King, Jr., born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia, is revered as one of the most prominent figures in the American civil rights movement. His unwavering commitment to nonviolent protest, advocacy for racial equality, and eloquent oratory transformed the landscape of American society. This essay explores King's upbringing, his role in the civil rights movement, his leadership, his iconic speeches, and his enduring legacy that continues to inspire generations worldwide. Martin Luther King, Jr. was born into a family deeply rooted in Atlanta's African-American community. His father, Martin Luther King Sr., was a Baptist minister, and his mother, Alberta Williams King, was a former schoolteacher. Growing up in the segregated South of the 1930s and 1940s, King experienced firsthand the injustices of racial discrimination, which would later shape his commitment to social justice. King excelled academically and graduated from Booker T. Washington High School at the age of 15. He then attended Morehouse College in Atlanta, where he studied sociology and was exposed to the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi and the philosophy of nonviolent resistance. King later pursued graduate studies at Crozer Theological Seminary in Pennsylvania and earned his Ph.D. in systematic theology from Boston University in 1955. Martin Luther King, Jr. emerged as a leader in the civil rights movement during the 1950s and 1960s, advocating for desegregation, voting rights, and economic justice for African Americans. His leadership roles included serving as president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference (SCLC), an organization he co-founded in 1957 to coordinate nonviolent protests and mobilize communities in the struggle for civil rights. One of King's most pivotal moments came during the Birmingham campaign in 1963. Facing fierce opposition and violence, King and other activists organized nonviolent demonstrations to challenge segregation laws and practices in Birmingham, Alabama. The campaign drew international attention and resulted in King's arrest. From his jail cell, King penned his famous letter from Birmingham jail, eloquently defending the strategy of nonviolent resistance and calling for moral courage in the face of injustice. On August 28, 1963, Martin Luther King, Jr. delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech during the historic March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, King articulated his vision of a racially integrated and harmonious America, where individuals would be judged by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. The speech remains a defining moment in American history and a symbol of hope and inspiration for the pursuit of racial equality. Following the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed segregation and discrimination based on race, Martin Luther King, Jr. turned his attention to securing voting rights for African Americans. In 1965, he led the Selma to Montgomery March in Alabama to protest discriminatory voting practices and demand federal legislation to protect voting rights. The march, marred by violence and brutality against peaceful demonstrators, ultimately contributed to the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Throughout his life, Martin Luther King, Jr. championed nonviolent resistance as a powerful tool for social change. Inspired by the teachings of Gandhi and his Christian faith, King believed in the transformative power of love, courage, and moral righteousness in confronting injustice and oppression. His commitment to nonviolence influenced generations of activists worldwide and continues to inspire movements for civil rights, social justice, and peace. In the latter years of his life, Martin Luther King, Jr. expanded his activism to include economic justice and the fight against poverty. He advocated for economic reforms to uplift disadvantaged communities and eradicate poverty through policies such as guaranteed minimum income and equitable access to jobs and education. King's vision of economic justice and social equity underscored the intersectionality of civil rights and socioeconomic empowerment. Tragically, Martin Luther King, Jr. was assassinated on April 4, 1968, in Memphis, Tennessee, while supporting striking sanitation workers. His assassination shocked the nation and sparked widespread mourning and outrage. Despite his untimely death, King's legacy endured as a symbol of courage, resilience, and the ongoing struggle for racial and social justice. In 1983, Congress established Martin Luther King, Junior Day is a federal holiday to honor King's contributions to civil rights and social justice. The holiday is celebrated annually on the third Monday in January, close to King's birthday. Beyond commemoration, King's teachings on nonviolence, equality, and justice remain relevant in addressing contemporary challenges such as systemic racism, economic inequality, and the quest for human dignity. Martin Luther King, Jr. remains a towering figure in American history and a global symbol of courage, justice, and hope. His steadfast commitment to nonviolent resistance, advocacy for civil rights, and unwavering belief in the power of love and equality continue to inspire generations of individuals, activists, and leaders worldwide. As we reflect on King's life and legacy, his message of unity, compassion, and social transformation serves as a timeless reminder of the ongoing quest for a more just, equitable, and inclusive society.